everyone, welcome back to another grammar lesson, and today we're going to be continuing on with commonly confused words. Stay tuned. Okay, before we get into that though, let's first introduce ourselves. Hi, I'm Eileen, and I'm going into 9th grade.
Hi, my name is Dasang, and I'll be going into 11th grade.
And I'm Grant, and I'm going into 9th grade.
Okay, so just like Eileen said, we will be continuing on with our discussion on commonly confused words. If you did not see part 1 of this series, make sure you click out of this video and watch that one first and then come back. So without further ado, let's begin. Eileen?
Okay, so here are some more examples of homophones, and just a quick reminder, homophones are a pair of words that sound the same or sound like very similar, but they have like different meanings. So as we said before, accept is a verb and it means to receive. And then the homophone of that would be except with the E, which is actually a preposition, which means with the exception of. And then we have access, which is a noun, and it's the right to enter. And then the confused word of access is excess with an E, and that's an adjective, or it can be used as a noun, and it means too much. Okay, then continuing on, we have advice, which is a noun, and it means guidance and counsel. And then we have advise, on the other hand, which is a verb, and it means to counsel. Okay, and then we also have lay, and lay is usually followed with a noun, and then lie is not followed with a noun, so that's the difference between those two words. And then proceed is a verb, and that means to come before something. And then there's proceed, which is a verb, and that means to move forward. And then we also have principle, which is an adjective, and that means the most important. And then we also have principle, which is a noun, and that means a rule.
Okay, so now we're just going to go more in depth with a few of these homophones that are most commonly seen in everyday reading and writing. Okay, so our first example has to do with the homophones access and excess. Like you saw in the previous slide, we have this example. Kate didn't have access to the school since all doors were locked. In this sense, access means the right to enter. We can substitute that into the sentence. Kate didn't have the right to enter the school since all the doors were locked. So that makes sense. But if we look at this sentence, although Leo donated as many old clothes as he could, he still had an excess of shirts and pants. So like Eileen said again, excess means too much, and we can plug that in. Although he donated these clothes, he still had too much shirts and pants, or too many shirts and pants. But if we plug in access to this sentence, it wouldn't make sense because access means the right to enter, so that would not make sense. Our second example is advice versus advise. Advise is basically the verb form of advice. As we see here, Aaron received helpful advice on how to succeed in college. Advice means like guidance or like a piece of counsel in that sense. And advise, Taylor felt the need to advise her brother to avoid staying up too late. In this case, advise means to give advice. So here's an example of a noun verb form of the same meaning. So that's that, and now let's move on to our next two examples. Grant?
So another example is going to be lay versus lie. So these are often confused. So an example of lay would be Sally lay her backpack on the chair, because the backpack is going to be the noun. And as we know from 2 slides ago, lay is followed by a noun. Next, an example for lie is going to be Allie wanted to go lie down on her bed. It's not followed by a noun because lie isn't followed by a noun, and down is not a noun. So use lie. Another example of homophones is proceed versus proceed. An example with precede is the teacher told the students to read the chapters that preceded the reading comprehension questions. So in this case, we use precede with an E, with E after the PR, because precede with an E means to come before something. So the chapters come before the reading comprehension questions. A sentence with proceed is after an hour, the detective was finally able to proceed with his interrogation. So the detective was finally able to move forward with his interrogation. If that makes sense.
Okay, so that concludes our discussion on commonly confused words in general. If you still have any questions, please feel free to contact us with our Discord page. I know explaining these got a bit confusing because they all sound the same, so our instructors kind of had some trouble differentiating between the two to our audience. But yeah, that's this video. We hope you enjoyed. And before you leave, make sure to like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell to be notified of our uploads, which we do upload every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So we will see you soon, and bye.